Good evening.
Trials and Tribulations, Episode 2.
We're going to talk about drugs. Why you should do it. So, when I was in 7th grade, on my 13th birthday, decided I wanted to get a whole bunch of weed and celebrate. And didn't end up working out. So I ended up getting the weed, but nobody wanted to smoke that day, so I had to save it for the next day. The next day was Monday in school, so I got home after I got my weed. I was like, I want to do something big, something great. So I grabbed a fucking piece of printer paper, made myself a filter out of like some fucking, I think it was like a book cover, made a little filter. Grabbed this big piece of paper and I just threw all my weed in there. I think it was like a quarter. It's two. I got 2 eighths, 3 grams. I saved 3 grams at my house. I put the 2 eighths into the big piece of printer paper like a fucking idiot and attempted to roll that. I eventually got it to stick. I saved it for the morning to smoke before school. So I I used to smoke before school all the time. Never had an issue with it, so I thought I'd be cool and everything. So I meet up with one of my friends who I used to walk to school with, and we go up to like this business. I don't even know what kind of business it was, but it was this business by the trolley tracks. There was a little like deck we used to smoke under, so we went up there to smoke, and we started smoking this joint. And at one point during that smoke, we see somebody who goes to school with us. I don't even know if I told you this. Actually, I may have told you this.
I think you
Somebody's seen us smoking the joint, and my friend says to me, he's like, "Yo, he's gonna snitch. We gotta put it out. We gotta go to school." He said, "Put it in your bag. Take it home. Drop it at home." So I put it out. I put it in my bag. Because I'm high, I just start walking to school. I do my normal shit. I stop at McCormick's. I get my bagel. And I get to school. I put my bag in my locker, and I go to class. But I'm high as fuck. So I'm at first period. I think it's science class with this bitch of a teacher. I usually sleep in class, but like I was trying to stay awake, trying not to seem high, but I kept like nodding out in the middle of class. So I think she saw. I think that's what prompted her to call the principal down. And little did I know, the principal was right outside, already at my locker, looking for me. So all she had to do was walk out of the classroom, see mans, bring him in the classroom. He comes up to me. He's like, "Yo, come with me." I'm like, "All right, usual shit. I usually get detention. I usually go into the office. That's my usual fucking thing." So I'm like, "What the fuck did I do now?" He's like, "Are you high?" He's like, "Nah, I ain't high." He's like, "Let me see your eyes." He's like staring at my eyes and shit, make me do that shit the cops make you do. You fucking finger. He's like, "You're high." I'm like, "All right, I'm high." Thinking like, yeah, it's 10-day suspension for being high in school. Like, I'm cool. I can do that. There's no issue. She's like, "All right, you gotta come down to the office. We gotta talk about what's in your locker." Did I drop that joint at home? Did I not? Could not remember. So I'm like, I got shit in my locker. What the fuck are you talking about?
Mm-hmm.
He's like, "We can smell it in the hallway. We need to know what's in your locker." I ain't got shit in my locker. So he brings me down to the principal's office, and I'm sitting there, I'm waiting. They go to my locker, they bring my bag in. They look in my bag, and he said, wait right here. We'll be with you in a minute. So, I'm waiting. I'm kind of just like sleeping. I'm like, people get caught with weed is like where we went, like people got caught with weed before, and I've heard about it, they got suspension. So like I'm thinking like this is cool. Like nothing's gonna happen. I never seen anybody get arrested, at least from what I know, for having weed in like the schools I've been to. So I think it's gonna be all right. He comes back in and he's like, all right, cops are on their way.
Damn.
I need to get as much information from you as possible because somebody said
What the fuck?
they seen you smoke and they seen someone else with you. I don't even know if this is true
Right.
or what they were doing.
Right.
Like he gets mad at me because I'm like, nobody's with me. That was me. I smoked. That's it. It's like we know. They said my name, my friend's name specifically. He was with you. All you need to do is tell me he was with you, and you can go the fuck home.
Nope.
Now, I went to school. They were very, 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 very not okay. And my friend at the time, he was black, and they always gave him trouble for anything.
Not okay. They were
he did.
racist.
They
Call it what it is.
it was fucked up. He went through a lot of shit. Like he wasn't supposed to go to school with us. He wasn't in our district. He lived in Philly, but he would stay with his.
They were
aunt.
trying to get him kicked out.
Yeah, like he would stay with his aunt and put his aunt's address down. Some shit like that. I don't know exactly what the fuck they
No,
did.
that's what we did when we
But-
went to Parkside.
Yeah, so like he wasn't supposed to be there. He really lived in Philly, but he would
We lived in
reside
Upland, and Parkside was in
with
Brookhaven.
us over in Drexelville, and that's what it was. So he's like pressing me hard for this. He's like, all right, cops will talk to you. They'll explain your situation. This way, you're fucked. I'm like, okay. Eventually the cops come in. They bring my bag in. They start emptying my bag. They pull out the roach. Remember, it's a big roach, like that big. And when I, not knowing the ramifications of this, like I used to throw all my weed bags into my backpack when I was done with them, like a fucking idiot. So they start pulling all the weed baggies out. And immediately they tell me like, there's enough grounds to charge you distribution on school property. So we need much information from you, and we need you to write a statement so that you don't get yourself in trouble. You don't want to fuck up your life. That's what they told me.
That's my favorite part.
You don't want to fuck up your life. You know, you just got to give us names. You got to tell us what's going on. And in reality, it was on me. Like I didn't have to cover for nobody. Like nobody was fucking like I had no connections with anybody to sell weed. Like they were just trying to make it something it wasn't. These are my personal weed bags in the bag. They give me the piece of paper to write a statement, and I don't know exactly the lines of what I wrote. So again, I was hot shit, but I know it was I was with me, myself, and I. Nobody else was fucking there. He looked at me. He's like, "Are you sure this is going to court with you? Like this is your statement on this matter? Are you sure this is it?" Like, yeah, that's it. I said, all right. Stand up. Put your hands behind your back. Go to jail. What they said at the time. I wasn't going to jail. I was a fucking boy. I was 13. They ain't taking me to fucking jail.
That's so scary though. At
The
13,
thing,
like
they fucked up. They ain't read my Miranda rights either at that time, which I don't know if that like they are allowed to do. Like nobody was notified that I was arrested. They ain't find out till like my parents ain't find out. Nobody found out until like I was
your
already,
property at that age though.
That's what I'm saying. Like I a lot of fucking shiesty shit went on with that.
Oh,
But-
I'm not surprised. The area. You pissed them off, so.
Yeah, I'm not gonna like. I wasn't gonna. Regardless of who I was with, what I was doing, if I was really selling weed, if I was really faced with this, like I was faced with the charges, But
Right.
they didn't have enough grounds to charge me.
Right.
I got a banging lawyer from Philadelphia.
Right.
He came in and said, if this kid was in any school in Philadelphia, he would have got a suspension and still been in school. But he's been out of school for a year. What the fuck are you people doing?
Yeah.
My lawyer was fucking pop.
But over like, if it was hard drugs, that'd be one thing. But it was over like, and I get it, it's a gateway drug,
No,
and
it
it's
ain't-
still
it
never
ain't-
okay. And I don't
it's
want to
not-
promote
it's
drug
not-
use.
It's not a fucking gateway drug. I'm not gonna fucking say.
I'm not gonna promote drug use though.
No, I'm not gonna promote drug use. But smoking weed ain't fucking a gateway drug. Smoking weed doesn't do shit. Ruining people's lives for smoking weed
Is that's
like,
not
I was
okay
out
though,
of
and that's what I'm
school.
gonna say.
I was out of school because
For a year, and now
of
you're
drugs.
lacking out education
Yeah.
over a plant, essentially.
Not just like a plant, but like instead of
Because you didn't want to give a name.
putting me in a position to where like I could have bettered my life, like worst thing they could have done for me is kick me out of school. I didn't go to school.
Exactly.
I smoked weed, like I was drinking, like I did drugs, I would sell drugs, I would do this, I would do that. Like that lined all that shit up for me.
Because you didn't have a place to go.
I didn't.
You didn't have school.
There wasn't. It gave me that little bit of like.
It sets you up for failure.
Yeah, it gave me what it was like to not be in that structured environment anymore, and how much like as a kid, like being immature and shit. Like I loved it. I didn't have to go to school. I didn't have to do shit with my life. I just sat around and waited to figure out everything else.
What they were gonna do with you.
Yeah. I couldn't go to. I wasn't allowed to. At that point, they told me in court, "You're not allowed within 500 feet of any school in Upper Darby School District." And I'm like, "Where the fuck am I gonna go to school?
Right.
I live in your school district. Like, I have to go to school." He's like, "You can't. Until you're convicted."
That's
And,
so
like,
fucked. All
until
because
they-
you didn't give a
until-
name.
Because as soon as they arrested me, like my charges were set in stone as distributional. Until I went to court, I didn't go to court for a fucking like for 8 to 9 months after I got kicked out of school. So from the school district's point of view, the charges that I had were the charges I had. Guilty until proven innocent
Yeah.
is basically how that situation played out for me. And where like I didn't have a chance to really like I missed out on most of my middle school education and part of my high school education, trying to like recover from all the middle school I missed. It's fucked up. There's no question about it. The school system fucked me over just like it fucks every other kid over. Makes one mistake. Like, it's not like I was fucking selling drugs in school on a daily basis. They kept catching me with fucking weed.
Or like
Or
cocaine.
they
or
knew
like,
I was selling weed. Or
that's what I'm saying though. Like it's not. But like if it was a hard drug, okay, easy. If you were actively selling weed,
you do gotta understand. When I was in middle school, they were still doing the DARE program, and like weed was still like.
I understand, right? But and that's what I followed up with too, though. If you are actively getting in trouble, like you know what I mean, for selling weed and like actively getting in trouble for like making a ruckus on campus, like okay, then maybe.
I was though. But I don't.
Not
think,
to
I
that
still,
degree,
I,
though.
It was pretty bad, but like I don't think it was enough. I
To
don't.
do
I don't
all
feel it's
that?
enough to deprive a child of his education.
What do y'all think?
Because like they didn't give me alternative options.
Comment below.
They left me with the option of getting homeschooled and having like my parents figuring out a way to not only pay for that, pay the fines, pay for my lawyer, pay for this, pay for that, which at that time that's a lot. That's a lot on the plate as a parent. I'm not gonna knock other things in my life that were fucked up, but like that's a lot for a parent to have to deal with. And then to know that your child's not getting an education now, and to have that pressure on you, it sucks. And then you do I did the homeschooling for like 6 months. The homeschooling wasn't shit. They came to my house for like an hour a day. When I lived at my grandmother's house. At that time, they would come to the house for an hour a day, like basically tell me the answers and let me pass
Yep.
the class.
They don't want to do their. They want to go home.
They didn't want to fucking teach me. The only teacher that I had that I actually learned something with was Senior Coombs. He taught me Spanish. I will say his real name because he's the fucking man. He gave me the best advice through the whole situation. He's like, fuck that shit. Like, they shouldn't have done that to you. They should have kept you in school. I don't know why over this you're not in school right now. 'Cause he obviously smoked bud too. I'm not gonna lie, like he would come to the house, he would reek. It's like he's not on school property.
Right.
He's coming to a kid who just,
Right.
you know, like he didn't hide it too well, even like in class and shit. But, like he was a really good person who I got the pleasure of learning at least a foreign language from. That was pretty cool. But like he also gave me advice on like how to deal with the situation and like how to deal with my own life and how it was at that time. But fuck the school system.
Moral of the story?
Don't fucking do stupid shit in school. It's not fucking worth it. 'Cause now I'm sitting here at my age trying to figure out my life instead of figuring it out then. Spend my whole life doing dumb shit like that and put myself in a position, put myself at a less advantage of everybody else to where now that I got a family, I got to figure everything out with no grounds, no foundation.
Because of one joint.
It was one joint. Because I wanted to smoke before school for my birthday. But fuck it.
Was it worth it?
No. Not worth it. Definitely not worth it. A whole bunch of shit. Whole bunch of shit. You don't want to fuck up on school property. That comes with a whole different set of fines, a whole different set of charges, a whole different set of ramifications. And you put yourself at less of an advantage in life by fucking that up. So that's my story.
Trials and Tribulations, episode 2.
Yep.